to the Lynn and Scott, well, the other Scott show tonight and friends.
The other Scott.
The other Scott Jonesy is running late. So welcome you guys tonight. And so Scott right now, Scooter is being my co-host. So I'm going to just pass the baton to Mr. Scooter Scott.
Right. Here. And we are joined by Barry Selby and of course the great Rex Sikes, the amazing Rex Sikes. Sorry to misname you there from that site. So in looking for a topic for tonight, we were talking about the various holidays and opportunities to celebrate and connoiter in the month of February. So pick any one. It's a potpourri. You can pick any one.
Well, we had President's Day yesterday, but we used to have two President's Days. We had Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday, and they consolidated it, made it one President's Day. So we kind of got shorted.
Well, don't we have like 46 of them at this point? How do you think the other 44 feel?
Well, they're included in President's Day now. So, I mean, in other words, we don't have 46 separate President's Days or whatever. But it is leap year. So what we maybe ought to do is add presidents for a leap year or something. Every 4 years, the other presidents get to celebrate.
So now that you have this extra day this year, what are you going to do, Rex?
Go to Disneyland.
Oh, now that's a stumper. I hadn't even thought about having an extra day, and I even mentioned leap year. So I don't know yet. I'll take it as it comes, probably.
Well, and Valentine's Day is over, and so is President's Day.
That's right. No, I'm actually hosting an event here in Dallas called the World's Largest Alliance, and we are working to create the largest networking event around the world in multiple locations on the same day.
Wow, cool.
On the same day, so that's
the 29th.
That's tricky.
Yeah, well, we're doing it on the 29th.
Oh, you are? Oh, cool.
And we're going to, I've got a location here, TK's Comedy Club here in Dallas. We're going to be doing it. But, I mean, there are folks doing it in Phoenix and in Denver and all over the country, all actually spots around the world that we're going to work to try to create a world networking record that everybody can be a record holder for coming to the largest networking event in one day.
Nice.
That's kind of cool.
Are you going to connect them anyway, like virtually, or have any like video connection, or it's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different connections and being put together. So it was kind of a interesting. Like, friend is doing it, kind of heading it up, and it was kind of a neat idea to, and so people are having these meetings all over the country, all over the world, basically the same time frame. Trying to make the same time frame, so that we can exchange information and do stuff. So it's going to be interesting. I have no clue how it's going to turn out, but what the heck? Why not get together, have some fun?
Yeah, and it'll be interesting with all the different time zones to actually make it click.
Yeah, it's a bonus day anyway. Why not?
Yeah, and if anything, it's a day that doesn't happen but once every 4 years. So
how'd you like to have your birthday on that day?
Yeah.
You'd be very young.
Many have.
Yeah. It's always that riddle of saying I'm only 16 or I'm only, 28 or, 32 or.
Actually, Harry Houdini's brother was born on leap year.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a very unique and useless fact there, Rex.
Leap year day during the networking, you could say, by the way, did you know? And then present that, different tidbits of who was born on leap year.
That's actually a good idea. You could have a little contest. Who knows the most about
little
leap year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. So last week we were talking, Scott Jones was talking about how he had a little bit had the rug pulled out from underneath him. And I think there was a lot of really good support and comments given. It was strange the next day. I woke up and the whole show was on my mind. And I just sent him a message and just sent him a text and said, brother, you're doing it. That's all you need to know. You're doing it. Keep doing it. And it's interesting how the show reverberates. No matter what we seem to talk about, it seems to fit a pretty good path along the way, of causing support. We don't have John to make fun of tonight. That's
yeah, if he comes in a little late. Yet.
He's not here yet.
You should lock him out and tell him, well, if you can't get here on time, you don't get in at all.
That would be good. Or we have to now make fun of Barry's pineapple again.
There you go.
It's sitting right there. Go for it.
So Barry, tell us about the thing that you're doing on Saturdays. I saw the pictures again. That looked pretty cool.
Oh, it's something a friend of mine encouraged me to come do back in November. I think started doing it. Basically, it's a bunch of volunteers. We get together every Saturday, and the person who runs it has connections at the food bank. So we get a lot of food bank food donated, and we just load up a trailer, bring it down to this park in the middle of LA, and we distribute. We basically assemble boxes. We have like 25 people show up to volunteer, and we just pile in like fruits and vegetables and cans and meat and everything else into boxes, give them out to needy families. There's pedestrian traffic and also drive-up traffic, and we feed between 200 and 300 families every Saturday. And it's only 2.5 hours, work, but it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time. And there's something so simple about it because it's not really it's not rocket science. We just show up, we throw stuff in boxes, and it's like, oh, with more people in line, let's put less of this in the box and put more of that in the box, sort of thing. We just play it by ear, and everybody gets to get what they need, and we have a lot of fun. And when we're done, we sort of have a little hug it out, some pictures, and we go home. So it's really a fun thing to do. And frankly, to make a difference that way is such a joy because it doesn't require any effort except showing up.
That's awesome.
Get aches and pains from lifting the boxes and stuff because there's a lot of heavy stuff lifting, but that's the only side effect. So yeah, it's great.
It's a workout.
How did it all start?
This guy Nico, who's originally from I maybe get it wrong. I think he's from Kenya. He's from Africa. He apparently met with some people over there who years ago started doing these things, and because the organization is called Africa Active, but it's all pushed together, so it's Africa Active, like the A's overlapping. And he's been doing it in LA for the last 3 years. He's been out for years himself. He moved out here 120 years ago. He's married. He's got a kid out here. But he started, I think, 3.5 years ago during the pandemic. Is what inspired him to do it out here. And he started literally on his doorstep, like getting a few things together, and just built over 3 years. Now it's just this big project. 2 months ago, they just got, as a part of a grant, a refrigerated truck, which is still getting set up, which will be the next thing they have to expand their ability to bring more food out. Because we have right now a trailer with a tarp over it, which is makeshift, but it works.
That's nice.
That's cool. How many people end up participating in it all?
It fluctuates. We when the weather's bad, because we do it every Saturday except Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. I'd say the smallest group we get is maybe 12, 15. The biggest group's been like 25, 30 so far. I mean, lately we're getting a lot of the students from UCLA and USC show up, and so we're having a joke about the fact that they're not competing; they're actually working together because there's a rivalry that goes back years in the sports parts for UCLA and USC. So these kids show up and they're fun too. So yeah, it's a good sized group.
Is it right downtown LA?
It's off of like La Brea, so of course I guess you call it like mid LA. So mid it's south of Wilshire. It's not mid Wilshire, but it's middle. Crenshaw, Culver City, somewhere in that sort of vicinity. So
that's cool.
But La Brea, like the borderline, is right by the metro train. So we have a park there now, Bummer Park.
So you have like the food bank participating. That's where the food's coming from then?
Yeah. They actually had a spot check a couple of weeks ago. The woman came down and just checked on us to make sure we're doing the right thing with it. Because, we've got to make sure that we wear gloves, that they don't drop any food on the ground. I mean, simple stuff like that. So,
yeah.
We have tents to keep everything under shade, and then we have tables we put out. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have a situation going on in Billings right now, and I'm not going to go into it, but the food bank here, the way it's set up, the person that's in charge of it is, I'll actually send you guys some information about it. It's kind of corrupted by the person that's running it, and people aren't getting they're not getting the food. And the sad thing is, like, she wants the social security card, the ID, the address. And I mean, they're making it very difficult for people that in need get the food, and it's very terrible. So it seems like it doesn't matter. Just drive up and get food, right?
Yeah, when we do, I mean, we have one of the people who's at the front of the line has like an iPad with they take the information like the person's name, which usually is first name, how many in the family, and that's it. We have diapers to put out, so it's really simple. But I mean, this past week though, this past Saturday, they had because it's hit and miss what we get, a whole variety of things. So this week was an abundance of apples, abundance of carrots, and a bunch of other things too. But we also had Wagyu steaks that were in there too. I don't know how they got in there, because the food bank gets given what they get given, and we just get from them what they get given too. So it's a really, it's a potluck type thing. We get what we get, and that's a real pleasant surprise. Yeah.
Well, that's great news. That's great to see that a food bank's not just hoarding it in a building. I'll just leave it at that, and actually getting it out to the community.
Yeah, the LA Food Bank, like sort of roundabout story. I mean, my favorite radio station in LA, which I've volunteered for 30 years, called KCRW, is a public radio station. Part of their pledge drive is they offer people membership. If they give a certain amount of money, they put that money towards the food bank. So it's interesting because over years I've given money to the food bank. Now I'm getting food from the food bank to give to families. It's kind of like a really interesting circuit. So that's kind of a fun thing. And the one in LA is a very big one. There's also one in like Santa Barbara, there's one in San Diego. The California ones are pretty strong and well organized. Big cities that require it. But yeah, the thing is, there's no authorization or requirement. You just show up and we give the food. People show up on their bicycles. I don't have a problem with that.
That's a refreshing concept. I'll get you guys some information that'll just blow your mind of what's going on here.
I just want to jump in before we say hi to John and say, if somebody's going to short the food bank because they're really wealthy and they're coming and getting food, let them have it.
Exactly.
Take care of that. The people who try and police everything and ensure that no one who doesn't deserve it gets it end up thwarting it for everybody.
How do you gauge that anyway? That's the other part too. The cars that show up are a variety of cars from like beaten up pickup trucks to nice SUVs, but we don't know what the families go.
So it doesn't matter because maybe a nice car, nice person is helping somebody that in need get a ride there to get the freaking food. Hello.
Maybe it's the person's housekeeper who's driving the family car to get the food. You don't know. So yeah,
exactly. So, but that's just great. That warms my heart. So look who came in the back door. He's got some lighting and we can see him.
Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
It's like you were parked in the alley.
It's funny you said that, Barry. We have an annual Christmas party at the office, and one of the guys, we all chip in, and one of the guys, he does, I don't want to call it a homeless bag because that doesn't sound right, but it's a bag of anything from shampoo, it treats, whatever, and a couple of bucks. And what he does, he encourages everyone to take 5 or 6 of them, and you put them in your car. And you never realize when you're going to need it. And in the area that, and I don't care what area you're in, it doesn't make a difference. But I had a couple left, and I had given a couple to some coworkers, not because they're homeless, but because they ran out of bags. But there was some guy, and he walked up to the car, and I looked around. I'm like, I got this bag. It had $20 in there. It had $20 in there. It had toothpaste. It had snacks. It had enough really for that day. And I'm like, that was, to me, I felt amazing. And the guy's like, this is great because it was all encompassing. And you forget it's those little things that it's baby steps. And we've talked about this before. It's pretty simple to make someone smile. But when you really mean it and you give it, and there was thought put into it by this guy at work to package everything up, it was outstanding. It was absolutely outstanding. So thanks for what you do, Barry, because that's tough, but the gratitude and the feeling you get when you're done has got to be mind-blowing.
Oh yeah.
About both you guys, what you just described, in the idea of giving it without any strings attached is that there are no strings attached. I grew up, you'd hear people say, well, if somebody, they see a panhandler or a bum or whatever, buy him a meal, don't give him money because it just use it for drugs or alcohol. And I'm like, what? That seems pretty demeaning. If somebody says, you got $5, and I go, look, I'm not going to give you money, but I'm going to buy you dinner. I mean, even if that's unspoken, it just doesn't. There's strings. You're like a performing seal. You have to come with me and eat the dinner. I get to watch you eat the dinner, and as opposed to saying, you know what, you're a human being. However you use whatever I give you, how you use it, and give them their respect back when you give them the gift. And I like that from both what John and what Barry are saying.
Well, I like the idea of what John was saying, just setting up little gift packs, that have just some essentials in it that you can carry around all the time.
I want to acknowledge our Debbie, who's in New York City right now. When we were in Santa Monica together, we bought a pizza. We were walking down the Santa Monica there, and Debbie gave somebody a couple slices of pizza, and that was pretty cool. So
I gotta tell you, it's funny you said that, Lynn. It's almost like takeout food. And
yeah.
One of my boys did that, but one of the boys loves really hot wings. And he was eating, he was kind of done. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of guys on the street forgot they were hot wings, because I thought this homeless man was going to kill me, because we gave him, we were done. Take the celery, take the fries. I'm like, we're not going to bring it back. Let's give it to people as we go back to where we're staying. We forgot it was blazing hot wings from Buffalo Wild Wings that we passed off to this poor gentleman that was there.
You didn't tell him hot wings?
I forgot. I just thought it was a nice gesture. But once I found out it was, you're goddamn right, I walked really fast afterwards. I'm like, let it go.
Could have stopped and got a bottle of water.
Oh,
to the flavor crowd, right?
Oh my gosh! Wow.
No, I love that idea. John, what's all in that pack that they put together?
I gotta tell you, it's literally deodorant,
probably socks,
toothpaste, socks are in there, kind of everything you can think of. But it's all encompassing. That when you're at a stoplight or wherever you're at, you just hand it. But I go back to what Lynn said, and I've told my kids and my wife, and we were out to lunch today, and the person I was at lunch with ate nothing. And I'm like, do you want a box? She's like, no. I'm like, take a box. Because imagine getting a box of when not eaten, you're not chimping on it, you're not giving them a half-eaten meal with teeth marks on it. I mean, you're giving them the leftovers, which we had this conversation that the restaurants can't donate this food. They can't.
Yeah.
So these millions of pounds of food are going away. So if I don't eat it, they don't eat it. Throw it in there. Someone wants it, and it's warm. But anyway, there's just really everything in there, Barry. It's kind of all essentials and $20.
That's cool.
I mean, it's just a nice, simple way to do it, where you keep it in your car and you pass it out the window.
And so Mo Rock from the Los Angeles Tribune came on to congratulate Rex for his new book project. So, yeah, thanks, Mo, for popping in and saying that. And hi to you, Mo. And Debbie, yeah, we made some great memories. And Debbie's dining party of one. So she's got us here. We love you, Debbie.
Totally.
So yeah,
it'd be cool to try to create an initiative like that in a lot of different cities.
Yeah. Well, you should come and join us sometime. But yeah, there's just a lot of great things that people can do to make a difference in town like that. And it's just, I love that you brought that up, John, as far as those little gift things, because those are really important things to give people, just because they don't have those essentials. And those little essentials cost a lot of money. And, even people that are in public assistance, sometimes they don't have those toiletries. Those are the things that are short every month for people to have, are those little toiletries and things like that, and that'll make a difference, So, and I think that's great. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you one thing is that if you basically are feeling down about life, or you're feeling depressed, or feeling like life isn't treating you well, go do something like that. Get a bag of goodies to somebody, or go help volunteer somewhere. It's the best self-care act I know of, because it just puts you in a better state. You recognize how good life is. If you can spend the energy and time to help somebody else, you're automatically helping yourself.
Yeah, you're getting out of your own head, your own problems, your own story, and getting into somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Laura. Laura, she's a former Miss USA elite. You got the more mature Miss USA pageant ladies, and she's done and done those things. What's that, Barry?
You be careful how you say that.
Yeah, I know. She'll call me right after the show. Like,
how does that work in the relationship biz, Barry?
I'm leaving that one alone for now.
So
Rex, tell us about your new book project.
Yes, tell us about your book.
Well, thank you for asking. It's really kind of cool. Mo Rock has offered me a $2 million advance to work on the project.
Nice. Does he know that yet?
Yeah, he
does now.
But,
Mo's probably not watching right now. So
yeah, he's probably gone and say no. Well, we're working on a project. I won't tell you what it is, but it is Mo and I are working on an upcoming book, and I'm excited about it. Something that I've worked on for many, many, many years. Most of you will be familiar with it in some ways, but I don't want to tip what it is until we're ready to tip what it is. And
nice. Wow.
So, but yeah, it's exciting, and with the Los Angeles Tribune and Mo Rock, and so it's all good.
Very nice.
And the $2 million isn't bad either.
Can do it. Just think of how many little packets you can do at $20 a pop.
Exactly.
You heard it all here.
That's right. So, John, did you have a lighting expert come in this week? You look fresh.
It's the same damn light. I'm telling you, I have no idea.
He learned where the on and off switch is.
Oh.
Okay. Ready? Watch. Ready?
Ooh. It's magic.
I can't figure that. I gotta have my kids to do it. I don't get it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Thank you for noticing.
Well, just wondering as a sales professional if you actually looked at the instruction manual.
No, because half was in Chinese, half was in English.
Just remember, you can't take a bath with it.
Yeah.
You have to leave it on. You do not take it in the bath with you while it's plugged in, and you do not throw any other electrical equipment, toasters,
So
or
the
whatever.
toaster and the light are not going in the bath.
That's right.
I'm bringing back old school. I'm just telling you. You may make fun of me now, but all of a sudden, the dude with the shine off his glasses, we couldn't see his ass. He's ready to go. God rest his soul. That's what they're going to say.
So next week he'll be surrounded by candles.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it. You want me to do it? I'll do candles.
Oh God, you've started ideas now.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't wear the Santa beard at the same time.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to do Santa beard and candles all at the same time. And write a book so I can keep up with all you guys.
Go for it.
So, with Jonesy not here, what can we talk about him? What's going on?
How talented he is, and how he's burning the candle in both ends. Go ahead, Rex.
I happen to be, cruising Twitter. It's too hard to say X. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
X is like a has been. So it's an X spouse something. To take
Next
Twitter and call it X is like. Well, I mean that's what he did to it. But at any rate, I was cruising it, and they had somebody posted, "Here's quality control for vapes in whatever country it was in," and everybody's testing them. So they've got all these things. They go, okay, that works. Puts it back. So I thought maybe we should have a public service announcement that goes out that says, "Wash your vape before you use it." So Jonesy, who's a vapor, he's more than a vapor, but he vapes, and
he's professional.
Yeah, for sure.
But he might the next vape he buys, he might want to clean it before he uses it for sure. I don't know. I've never vaped. I don't know.
Yeah, nor do I want to try that.
Well, it's like going into the supermarket and licking all the fruit. I mean, it just.
Well, who hasn't done that?
I haven't, but.
The night's still early, Rex. Don't look at the cucumber.
I'm not
do
worried about when I leave. I'm worried about what I
put the
get.
pineapple upside down in your cart. That's a whole different video.
A whole different story too. After I heard what the pineapple means in certain areas and whatever, when we got into that topic that one time.
Which part
That
is
was wild,
that?
yeah.
Were we all here together when that's happened? I know there's like,
Yeah, really. What?
Yeah. Well, we'll just leave that alone.
Yeah, if you Google it, we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah,
That
there
would
you
be
go.
a whole different show with an 18+ audience.
Yeah.
But if you ever do it, okay, I'm just gonna say this till I stop talking about it.
Here we go.
When you do it in someone else's cart that you don't know. Not that I've done this. So if you go to the store and there's a pineapple, pick up a pineapple. And then when someone is not looking, take that pineapple, put it upside down in their cart.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Google away, my friends.
That's your homework assignment for tonight.
That's it.
How much?
And then the funny thing is, and I haven't done this either, then you follow them around the grocery store and you see the looks they get is absolutely amazing.
Well, it would be amazing if you live in that kind of area that people would know what the hell you're talking about.
I think it's every area, Lynn. So
Really? Well, then I guess I'm naive then.
Okay.
Well, I guess, and I don't go to grocery stores. I don't like shopping.
But when you do, watch for the upside down pineapple. That's all I'm telling you. That's all I can say.
You're trying to create a trend.
Yeah.
So how much time did you spend in detention, John?
It was actually 2 days and 4 years because I forgot my books. It got worse as I got married and older.
Oh,
Your wife gets detention?
What?
Because he didn't have it.
Did your wife get detention?
I think she's in it now. I think she's at the grocery store shopping for pineapples. But let's take that into a different story.
Good. We
Oh,
started about
that's
doing
funny.
nice things for other people. Now you're about putting pineapples in people's carts. An interesting switch.
Well, it seemed the technique he was a little too familiar with, number one.
Right.
Number two, if he's familiar with that technique, my guess is there might be some others. And probably more than once he had a challenge because of it.
There you go.
I can hear you, by the way. You almost talk like it wasn't here. I'm telling you.
We're talking about you, not to you.
It's from stories that I've heard. My friend did it.
Oh, that's hysterical. So what other good deeds have you guys or charities and stuff have you guys been involved in that for community's sake that you have found or that you support that have been near and dear to you guys?
I mean, there's a lot of different things, quote unquote, formally.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one of the. I was walking with a buddy of mine, Sean G. Murphy, one day. We were going into a 7-Eleven, and there was a vet sitting, outside, and didn't stop and talk to him, didn't do anything, walked inside, bought stuff. I wasn't really paying attention to what he bought, but he literally bought an extra meal, a sandwich, a drink, a bag of chips, and brought it out and just said, "Here, I'd like to gift this to you." Guy never asked for it. It was really a thing, and it was an amazing gesture. And he said, "That's what I want to do every day. I want to just, feed somebody every day or make a difference." And you sit there and think about it and you go, none of this stuff is hard.
Yeah.
It just typically isn't top of mind.
Right.
It's not what you're thinking of. I mean, I went to a thing for a kids TV network, kids Christian TV network, that they were working to put together quality messaging and, good stuff. And to see people supporting that and because they were just working to do good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's a lot of these things are just getting them top of mind and just thinking about it. One of the things that Sean does, and every time he beats me to it, and every time I'm like, dang it, but he'll walk in and say to somebody who's serving, you know, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for all those that haven't today and probably won't.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Just a cool thing, right?
Real quick, is it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do.
But it means a lot.
It means a lot, but when it means a lot, and I think where I like it is, like I've done it, like you said, if I ever see servicemen or women in a restaurant, I'll tell the waitress, waiter, server, whatever, pick up the tab, don't tell them it's me. I want nothing from it. I don't, unless you need a mortgage, a whole different story. But different. But it's, here's a check. Or, you know what, I don't know, I'm leaving, let me give $50 towards their tab, whatever it is. You know, there's your local, I got a guy where I always buy my gas from for my kids' cars, everyone else. And it was one of those things where he had mentioned he liked a certain kind of beer. So I was at the station, I bought that certain kind of beer. He charged me for it. I slid it back to him and I said, this is for you, thank you. I want nothing. But every time I go in there, man, I'm telling you, it's those little things that I would say 20% of the people do. And if you can pick that number up just a little bit. Imagine someone buying your dinner, your lunch, and breakfast, whatever, and you walk out, you want nothing for it, but you say, you know what, we appreciate what you do, especially the servicemen, cops, firemen, whatever it is. It's so easy to do. It's not rocket science, man. If everyone did a little bit of it,
yeah,
huge.
So I was in the supermarket and I had left my cart and I came back and, you know, I was busy paying attention to, and I got back to my cart and lo and behold, there's an upside down pineapple in it. And I was like so touched. It was so cool. I'm like, who thought to give that gift to me? But actually, seriously, a few years ago, I think I posted on Facebook. I was at Einstein Bagel. I was getting either a breakfast sandwich or something and a cup of coffee or a latte or whatever. I went to pay and they went, the car in front of you paid for it. And I was blown away. I didn't need it. I didn't expect it. I mean, I've heard about it and everything else, but somebody actually paid in advance for whatever I had. And I was like, how incredible. And I thought, if that's how I respond to it, how would the person behind me respond to it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
I love.
But I mean, but what I'm saying is, so often we talk about what we've done for others, and then there's those things that people do for us. And the question for anyone watching or listening or considering any of this is, if it puts a smile on your face, if it blows your mind, if you go, I'm on top of the world because somebody did an act of kindness, then the next step is to then do an act of kindness, because not only will that person get their mind blown or put a smile on their face or do a happy dance, but you get to do it knowing that that's how you contributed to another person.
Yep.
And the thing is they will tell everybody at work. I always tell my guys and myself, if you do a deal, you do whatever, and you appreciate someone, whatever it is, don't send them flowers at home. Send them flowers at the office. Because all of a sudden, flowers shows up on Lynn's desk. Like, oh, who's that from? It's my mortgage guy. That's my author. That's whatever. And you just, it starts to ripple. And it's so simple when you do it. You just need more people doing it.
There's another thing you can do, which is mindset shifting. There's something a friend of mine started doing. I've started doing a little bit, but not as much as she did. But if you go to retail, you go to a grocery store, retail stores, and you're in the checkout line, she says she's got this game she plays. And she asks the person who's the teller, do you want to play a game? Usually they're usually busy doing their own thing. So it pulls them out of their focus. What's the game? Tell me 3 things you're grateful for. And that's it. You let them talk. Because I did it a couple of times myself with the grocery store I go to, and watching their faces light up because it's something that stops them being in the mechanics of just doing the work. They can actually take stock, do anything. And yet the thing is, you can change somebody's day by doing that. So if you got retail stores, gas station, wherever you're going, be willing to start asking people what they're grateful for. You might be surprised at what they discover and what you discover as well.
Yeah, people that are doing their job, when you actually take them and actually treat them like a human being instead of just, what you expect them to normally do. It's amazing how they'll even go above and beyond. And then they never forget you for that, for having a conversation with them, and whatever. They'll always remember you, in that experience.
And we always say, Lynn, it's people love talking about themselves. So
Yep.
you use the Ford comment. Ford, family, occupancy, recreational dreams. You start rolling that shit out, man, and people, how's your family? Everything good? How's work going? Things are good. What do you do on the offsite? What are your dreams? Next thing you know, they're vomiting everything. And when's the last time anyone asked a clerk at a grocery store, a guy changing your oil, whatever it is, but then their eyes light up and you make that connection, you hop back in your car and you're like, man, you just made something. And what are he or she going to do? Go home and say, honey, this woman, this man just said, what's my house? It ripple. Again, you go back to rippling. It's not difficult. Ask people about themselves and they will tell you everything. No one wants to hear about you. No one wants to hear about me. I'm going to ask about you, and all of a sudden, it's going to roll.
Well, it's
Why
funny.
does everybody want to know about mortgages?
Everybody, first of all, wants to know about mortgages, Scott. I'm just keeping that out of this because when they talk about their family, occupation, recreation, obviously, you knocked up your wife, you need a bigger house. So it all comes back together.
Oh, the logic plays out. Okay.
That's a good opener. That's a nice segue there. Peggy and I went to dinner last week and met some friends out, and so we were waiting for the friends, and I went and parked the car and came in. Peggy was talking to these two girls at the bar as we were sitting there waiting, and they came in, or as I came in, she introduced me as her husband. We saw your wife from across the way. She's so pretty, and they were just very sweet and very nice. And our friends walked in, and so my wife spun and started talking to them while I started talking to these girls. And one had just fulfilled her dream of being like a home chef, or a private chef, and just got contracted that day. And so she was telling me the whole story of how she got into it and what she really wanted to do. And it was really cool to see people just wanting to share their dreams. And I kept on asking him questions, just sitting there listening. And at the end, before we went to our table, they were leaving and stopped and talked to my wife. And he said, your husband's so nice. And Peggy just goes, what did you do? What did you say to them? Right. And the funniest part is I didn't really say that much. I simply kept on asking them about them and allowing them to share their dreams and what, they had just moved to Dallas not too long ago and were getting familiar with the area, giving them some tips on places to go and things like that. And it's really interesting because it's not about doing anything special.
Listening.
Yeah, it's asking a question and listening, having a conversation with people and just opening yourself up and saying, what would help you? Who would you need to, if you could accomplish whatever you want, who would you need to know? And things like that. It like I say, I'm fascinated. And I think I've progressed over time, but it's weird. It seems like I talk to everybody and I don't even think of, I don't think about it. I think at one time I probably did, but I don't think I really do anymore because you start to realize that just talking to people have been so sheltered. They haven't had anybody that's willing to listen to them. And it's amazing what you can do if you're just willing to ask a question or two and listen.
I like that because, I've always said that there's the best pickup line in the world is hello.
Yeah.
And yet most people don't just say hi. Every day, I'm sure your mailboxes, your inboxes are just filled with people going, let me connect you with other people. Here's my service. Here you need more leads. You want to scale your business. Everything is a pitch. Nobody just goes, "Hi, nice to meet you."
Yeah.
It's like, and then I get these follow-up emails like, "Did you not get my message?"
I love the one that says, what did I say wrong?
Yeah, all this kind of stuff. I've tried 3 times how to reach you. Blah blah blah, and I'm like, you're not getting the hint, obviously. It's like, if I haven't responded, it's because I'm probably not interested. But the point is that what you just were saying, Scott, about inviting, and John inviting, or Barry, of course, but inviting other people to share themselves, to speak, give them the opening and allow them to do it, as opposed to just it
Actually,
makes
one thing about those emails and messages you get that people are pitching you right from the get-go is I'm getting better. I keep forgetting some of those, block them, but if I remember, I'll send an email back to them or a message back to them saying, thank you for reaching out. Your approach needs some help. If you want some help about relationship, I can help you with that so you can navigate your business better.
you can help others get those leads that you're so good at getting. How you improve.
Yeah. Why not? Because nothing to lose.
My course is how to send out an email.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
No, I think LinkedIn is famous for that. Somebody reaches out, hey, I've looked, we've got lots of mutual contacts. We should connect. Okay.
And then
you connect, and 6 seconds later, there's something that says, I've reviewed your profile. Oh my God, we're even closer than I thought. It's like, you did that in 6 seconds. That's amazing. You are like the greatest speed reader in history.
Is there now a button that says let's connect? Because I see a lot of times somebody will read, my blog or something, and I get this let's connect message. And I'm like, but it, from one person it would make sense, but now I've gotten from scores of people, and I'm like, oh, okay. So
yeah, it's one of the auto
shortcuts. And I'm like, no, let's not.
Well, it's interesting.
There's our co-host.
He's tied up.
I did not tie him up.
He's
he said with work. Okay. Sorry. My guilty side was coming out. We love you, Scott.
Miss you, Jonesy. So it's interesting, speaking of LinkedIn, because I got it suggested that I reach out to somebody. And so I did, and really had no clue whether we'd ever connect or not. But it's a former NBA Hall of Famer, All-Star, and today I got the thing that connected and said, thanks for reaching out. Most people don't, because of who he is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's kind of the reverse side. It's like, oh, he'll never accept my connection request.
That's
and
funny.
I didn't do it because of who he was. I did it because I thought it'd be interesting,
No, that's true with celebrities. They are either, stalked and hounded, or people shun them because they don't think that they would be interested, or, they don't treat them like people anymore. They become objects either to back away from and not have contact, or to want desperately to have contact. And, people are people.
I mean, that's the thing that somebody said to me one time, oh, you're going to get enamored by this guy. He's a big time speaker. And I said, what am I, chopped liver? And it's not that I'm, trying to take level to level, but it's like, I don't care. I've been very blessed to meet many a big time speaker. What you find out is most of them are pretty nice people, and then there's a few a-holes.
Yeah.
So just put yourself in one class or the other.
Or it could be the other way around.
Yeah, it could be the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
I always say I was fortunate to grow older my teenage years in Hollywood, spending time with celebrity kids and celebrities and in homes of very wealthy people. And at the same time, there was a time when I was homeless in Hollywood, and I would hitchhike to Beverly Hills and like sip champagne poolside with all these big celebrities, and then hitchhike back home and crawl into my movie studio where I live. And I will say this: I'm impressed by people because of the person they are, not what they've accomplished. There's nothing that anyone has done. I mean, I can admire their talent and their abilities, or their, whatever they, I mean, I'm not trying to mean anyone in saying this, but there isn't anybody that I wouldn't feel comfortable meeting, assuming that they were a nice person. Because I mean, I don't care if you're the president. I don't care if you're the janitor. I don't care if you're the top star or the lowest, whatever. It's just, people are people, and to meet people because they're nice people or get to know people because of who they are is the thing that appeals to me. Not whether they have a suit, not whether they have money, not whether they have a house or a car or whatever. I could give a crap.
Yeah,
that's why I love you, Rex. You're the best.
Totally agree to that. I mean, it's about it is what Martin Luther King had right. It's their character, right? I mean, it's the rest is irrelevant. All the pomp and circumstance and all the different stuff, and that's why I think people are tired. Well, I hope people are tiring of it. Tiring of all the bullshit. The
people can see through it anymore.
Well, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy to see. I mean, living in Dallas, there's a lot of fake body parts here.
Yeah.
I live in LA. It's no different.
Well, at least we're not Houston, the silicone capital of the world, but
give it time.
But I mean, it's very interesting how it's, things are changing. Hopefully they're changing. I mean, people are I think stuff has gotten hard enough in enough places that people are going, let's get back to center a little bit. Let's get back to reality. And hopefully, I mean, that would be awesome.
Or just accepting themselves for who they are would be great. Starting point. People accepting themselves for who they are would be a great starting point, I would suggest.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you look at all the craziness that, perfectly. Peggy and I watch not Nip Tuck. We watch Botched, and you just see both ends of it. You see people who were going to, who were good-looking people to begin with, who have just made themselves semi-atrocious through plastic surgery, and then you see those who have had bad events, and you just go, "Oh my God!"
So this is how you spend your evenings entertained? Looking at bad plastic surgery?
No, it's called a plastic surgery prevention show.
Preventing. Oh, okay.
Just in case you're inclined.
Or is this how when we started the show, when Barry talked about when you don't feel good about your life, you go somewhere else so you feel better?
That's exactly it. You go, "Oh my God." No, but I mean, on one side, you see their genius in being able to take people who have been, some kind of malady or some kind of whatever, and give them a new look or give them a more normal look, and what an inspiration it is, and what that must feel like to hand somebody a new life, in essence.
Well, let's since you brought that up, then let's go full circle to Maxwell Maltz, and he came up with the psycho-cybernetics as a result of being a plastic surgeon who helped people overcome issues with their face, only to find out that some had a new lease on life and others didn't. And so he said, well, something else is going on here, because if I get rid of the scar or I improve their look, why aren't they feeling better? And he said it was because their internal self-image was needed to be changed, not just the external thing. If their internal image changed, then whether they got the fix or didn't get the fix, they were better off. But if their internal image changed to meet the new face, then things were good. But if it didn't, then they could. So it's an amazing thing, that we're talking about this, because people are people, no matter what they look like, what color they are, what shapes or sizes they come in, what nationality or religion or background they have, whatever they have or don't have, and Barry, or who said the word character? Was that you, Barry, earlier? Scott mentioned.
Yeah.
We were talking about it being, what's it, and it is. I mean, it's the character of the person that matters, and what kind of person they are, if they're a nice person or not, and I think if and the idea of what we were talking with the giving things and donating things and helping people is to help them have a good self-image about themselves and not be someone who contributes in a way that has them be demeaned or shamed, which is a lot of what people do. They go, well, here, I'm throwing out an old pair of shoes, so here you can have my old shoes or something like that, or you're just a lazy bum, or you're a lousy immigrant, or whatever you might be, as opposed to raising the esteem of people and helping people have a nicer self-image, and then understanding that everybody puts their pants leg, essentially on one leg at a time, assuming they have legs, and but we're all in it together.
Yep, very much so.
Absolutely.
And real quick, and what you said there, Rex, is kind of funny, because when we give these bags, it's not like you're not driving 20 miles an hour throwing the bag. I want that time to have that conversation with someone, and the stories you learn, the histories they've had, what they could be vets, they could have whatever. And I pulled over many times and like, screw this, let's go grab a cup of coffee. Here's your bag, but I want your story. And the stories they have, no one wants them to share. Like, you know what? Here's a couple bucks. I'm on my way. But when you literally have a conversation with some, not all, but some that you can kind of get a bond with, it's like, man, let's go. I put a guy in my car once, which, okay, my fault. But I'm like, let's go. And we sat for an hour. And the conversation he had, the history he had, the life that he had, it just went in the crapper. And just to hear that, man, like you said, Rex, it's mind-blowing. You don't want to do that all the time. In certain areas, you never want to do it. But just if you're at a long stoplight and you give a bag, and I told one guy, I'm like, here's for you. Don't thank me. Tell me your story. He told me his story. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I just say this. I was driving up PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, and I was next to a guy on a chopper, and all of a sudden his bike started to sputter, and he ended up pulling in front of me and off to the side. So I stopped behind him. I said, "Do you need any help?" And he said, "Oh yeah, gonna have to have my bike, towed home or picked up or whatever." So I said, okay. So we rolled his bike across the street into private homes and, private driveways, the rich people kind of thing, and said, can we leave this here? And they said, yeah, sure, no problem. I said, well, where do you have to go? He said, well, I got to go to Ventura. I said, I'll give you a ride. It was like 40 miles away, or more. So I drive him up to Ventura, and he says, oh, by the way, I am the president of the Ventura Hells Angels. My name is Animal. If you need anything, I need anything, you call. Here's my number. I said, well, thank you. I'm it's not likely I will, but thanks for the number. And I dropped him off and I drove back. I never did call. I never had reason to call, but he ultimately ended up getting his bike. I mean, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, we're almost out of time here, but we can go around real quick. And if you want to wrap up what you got out of this.
Yeah, so Lynn, do we have a topic?
No,
we didn't need a topic.
Now.
No, we didn't need a topic.
59 minutes into this, we need a topic.
Barry, go ahead. You started with the topic thing. What did you get out of today's show?
Well, the thing I'll say this to anybody listening or watching or thinking about what we talked about is it's so much easier to do something better for somebody else just by thinking it proactively, whether it is to give someone a compliment or to give out a food bag or to go volunteer somewhere, where it's going to, go to the animal shelter, help the animals. You're going to do something for yourself. That's a very selfish act, but boy, the animals love it too. So you can do something in your spare time. You can send like we said earlier, you can send a nice email to somebody. How are you? Nice connect sort of thing, without any agenda or attachment. We don't do that often because we don't think about it. For some people, it's good to get out of our own headspace and help somebody else. Make a difference, and makes a difference for yourself as well.
I couldn't have said it any better. Rexter.
I got nothing. I just spoke.
John.
First of all, Rex always has something, so I'm very surprised. So I'm thankful. No, and going off of what Barry said, it's those quick hits, and we've talked about this before. 15 before 6 o'clock in the morning. How are you? You're not asking for anything. You're making someone's day. It's so simple, and we talked about it. If the 5 of us do it, and then you bring it out to another 5, and then another 5. It's so goddamn easy, man. It drives me crazy. And when you get the response from whether the homeless or whatever the situation is, man, you can't feel any better. So whoever watches this, if you could do 5 a day, do it, because you'll be surprised how it makes you feel better and how it builds into your career and makes you more successful for literally taking 30 seconds a day and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other Scott, Mr. Scooter.
I think that we talk about this quite often, and it's funny when we don't have a topic. Isn't it interesting that it falls into random acts of kindness, giving back, doing nice things, all things that are really easy. And guess what? As panelists, we're very lazy, and easy is good. And so these things are easy. It's easy to talk about being nice to people. It's easy. Now, the only question is, do you take it to the street and do you do it? Does it become that next part of it? But it's funny. Somebody said something to me the other day, and they said, "Why are you smiling?" Because I can. And it wasn't, I wasn't trying to be a smartass. It was just like, why not? What are the opportunities to make a positive impact on somebody? I mean, we're going to make impact one way or the other. Why don't we work to make it positive impact and make it a better situation? And I think all of this becomes daily habits, and keeping it top of mind and doing it more often and reminding yourself of it and doing what it takes. When I go to the gym in the morning, I play very loud Christian inspirational music. People are like, "What? That seems like an oxymoron." No, there's some really great loud Christian music that's tremendously inspirational. And it just, that sets the day with good lyrics top of mind, and working to do stuff. So any of us can do it. It's just, you want to. Exactly. That's the exact point. Exclamation point. Lynn, back to you, so you can bark us away.
Yeah, it's about that time to just get off of here. No, you guys, thank you for tonight. And that's our outro.
That's right.
All right, appreciate you guys.
See you next week.
Love you guys. Okay, we're out of here.
We're out of here.
Keeping me safe and sound.